So from today, guys, we are going to start a new segment of Azure AZ104, which is storage. And after this, we are only left with migration. And simultaneously, whenever time allows, we are looking at PaaS services. For example, again, storage is also a PaaS service. Load balancer, which we saw, that was a PaaS service. So under these segments, we have infrastructure and PaaS services both. So uh, we do not have a dedicated segment for that, but yes, we will look for a few services like web app. I'll show it to you. Azure function, web surveys, few apps, and these are very small services, or hardly one session will take to cover all of these services. So we'll cover PaaS services, few of them. So PaaS is very important and they will ask you about PaaS. But you guys will have to focus on infrastructure because the practice which we have been doing and the role which we are preparing for, it is based on infrastructure as service. You are preparing yourself for implementation engineer where you're claiming that you use to deploy servers, storage, network, etc. So mostly infrastructure as services will come to picture in your role. However, PaaS is equally important and they do ask, but it's okay if you do not know many services in PaaS. Few of them famous services we are going to learn. We have already seen few of them. Load balancer we have seen. I've asked you guys to try application gateway. I'm not sure how many of you have tried, but similarly we are going to see few of them, right? So as a segment, we have covered Active Directory, we have covered compute. Compute is the biggest topic and most frequently asked, and that is very important. I mean, everything is based on compute. I'm not saying others are not important, but compute is it's a core of any cloud or any infrastructure. I mean, networking, it's fine. Storage, it's okay. Active Directory, everything, it's fine. But if there is no compute, that all these services, they don't make any sense. Right, so compute is the biggest segment we had. We have covered compute, we have covered Active Directory, we have covered networking. Now we are we are about to start storage. And after this, we will focus on migration, and that should be it. Then a few small topics we will be left with small topics, like as I told you, few services from PaaS, maybe monitoring, and whatever is left, wherever I told you guys that we will see this later, we'll see that later, maybe we'll cover those services, or wherever you have some issues or you want me to repeat something which is important and you guys did not get it even after watching the video, even after practicing. If you haven't watched the video, if you missed the session, you haven't watched the video, you did not practice, then it doesn't make sense for me to repeat, right? But if you have watched the video, you have practiced and still you are not getting it, then yes, we'll definitely repeat those topics. And so I'm still waiting for others to join. I see a few people are pending. I got their message that joining in a minute or so. So before we start with storage, one quick question. Did you guys go through these topics which I shared with you? I'm sure all of you have access to this OneNote. There is no one who can say that they do not have access to this OneNote, right? Because I did not send it separately. It was there in terms of video and whatever I wanted you guys to read. It was here in this OneNote. So did you guys go ahead and read this? Yes, guys. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, I looked at it.
What about others, guys? If I now ask you some questions on uh, DMS or relational database, non-relational database, will you be able to answer? And as I told you, this has nothing to do with Azure. Hence, I'm not covering this in my classes. And even if I cover this, I will just have to read it for you. It is self-explanatory. This is not from Google. I have written these in my own words for you to understand it well. These videos, yes, these are available on YouTube. I've shared the link and I've written these explanations for you to understand it in a better language, easier language. So even if I do it here, I'll be reading it from here. But we had enough time. We always have enough time in between two sessions. We have 5 days. So I was expecting you guys to read it. So apart from whoever has confirmed, sorry, didn't see your name. Apart from this person, anyone else who has read this or went through this? Any questions, any doubt? Anyone understood this? That what is SQL, what is relational database, what is non-relational database, what are the old DB types we have, what is new database types we have, what are the new database types we have, what is key value in database, what kind of key values do we have, what is graph database. Did you guys read? Did you guys understand? Do you guys have any questions on this?
Sohail, I have not gone through yet for the above topic.
Okay. What about others, guys? Yes, guys. Yes, no. Have you checked it or not? At least I'll know that what to start. If you have read this, then I can directly start with storage concepts, Azure storage concepts. Otherwise, you guys will not understand that. And then it will be a waste of your time and it will be a waste of my time. And I have been
Mm,
telling you guys that I do not just want to cover number of hours that okay I spent 8 hours on I spent 6 hours on storage and our topic is over. If none of you understand, then I'll have to repeat the topic, then ultimately it is waste of my time. So I need a confirmation whether you guys had a chance to go through this or you did not.
uh, so I did not had time, so
What about others, guys?
Yeah, sir.
Okay,
No,
so
like,
I
no,
guess
sir.
fine, it's okay. We don't have to take confirmation from every individual. I guess ma majority of you, maximum people have not read it, right? Right, so please, whenever I ask you to do some prerequisite, please do that because based on this only you will understand the next concepts which are there in Azure. Right, so please make sure that you read this today. So tomorrow we can start with storage, Azure storage, right? So today what we are going to do is I'll explain few concepts to you. Uh, Though it disturbs the decorum also because before starting the class I plan the portion and everything that what I'm going to teach today, everything. But if something like this happens, it disturbs the decorum also. So please guys make sure that you go through the prerequisite, and these are the questions they may ask you in your interview also. And more than interview, this will clear your understanding. Otherwise the same concept, if I start explaining this to you here, it will take 4 hours for you to understand, it will take 2 hours for me to explain, and it will take 8 hours for you to practice. But if you have your basics clear, you will understand it maybe just in 2 hours. It will take for me it will take 1 hour to explain it to you. That's how useful it is. Not only this one, any prerequisite. For example, we did it in networking, right? And I'm sure it helped you guys. If you guys did not know what are IPs, what is public IP, what is private IP, then it would have been very difficult topic. So guys, please make sure that whenever I request you to do some prerequisite, please do that. Right. So before we start storage, I just wanted to check with you guys. Do you guys have any questions, any doubt, anything with related to network topic, which is not covered? Again, this is for people who watched the video, who attended the session, who practice. People who did not practice, who did not watch the video, who did not attend the session, please go ahead and watch it once. And still, if you have doubt, then we can work on that. So do you guys have any questions? I have added some questions here. I have added some task here for you to complete. I saw a few of you have done load balancing, and that was done in very detailed and good manner. You guys, cross-checked it by yourself. You shared screenshot. That was very good work, I would say. If you can explain the same work in your interview when it comes to load balancer, sorry, when it comes to load balancer, and if you are able to explain what you did here in the practice, if you are able to explain it as a production environment, that we were planning to have a production load balancer, but before having a production load balancer, I did a POC, a proof of concept for my client, and this is what I did, and this is how the result was. I created 2 servers. I had dummy websites in them. I put one server here. I put another server in another backend pool. This is how I did, and I asked client to check one. I asked, and then I shut down the other server. Then I asked him to check the same public IP. He was able to access another site, site A. Then I shut down that machine. Then client was able to access client B or server B when I turned it on. Something like this. If you explain whatever you did, the theory part, and when it comes, sorry, the practical part, if you explain this, and in the theory part, the questions which I have given to you based on load balancer, I'm sure all of you have gone through those questions, right? like what are the SKUs available, what is the difference between basic and standard. So if you are able to cover these two segments, you take guarantee from me that your interview is clear as far as networking segment is concerned. If you can explain load balancer in a proper manner, then it gives a very good impression, because people who have been working from last 2-3 years actually on Azure administrator on implementation role, even they don't get to work on Azure load balancer. Why? Because it works in a monotonous practice, in a monotonous term, I would say. For example, if I have a team of implementation engineer of 6 people, 2 of them I have just assigned machine development or deployment. I'm just giving them, you deploy machines, you deploy machines. 2 of them, I'm just asking them to deploy networking. 2 of them, I'm just asking them to deploy storage. And load balancer, maybe someone else is deploying. So someone who works on load balancer, he or she doesn't have any idea what is going on when it comes to virtual machine deployment. People who work on virtual machine deployment, they do not know what's going on in networking. Networking people, they do not know anything in storage. This is, I'm talking about the actual, though it is not a good practice, it is a better fact, but that is how it is. Because company, they are never worried about your growth. What company wants, I'm not talking about me as a personally, but let's say if I am a manager of a company, I am not worried that who's learning. Let's say, if I take few names, for example, from you guys, I am not worried what Anisa is learning. I'm not worried what Harun is learning, or I don't care what Satish is learning. What will I look at? That these 3 people are working on virtual machine deployment from last 6 months, right? So they're good with virtual machine deployment. I do not want any error in my job, and I want my work to be done quickly. So I will keep on assigning virtual machine work to them because they're good at it. Now they can do it. What am I getting in returns? I'm getting good work, quicker work. Other candidates, let's say Mudassir, Nazni, Nirmal, these guys are working on storage. So keep assigning storage to them. What am I getting as a manager, as a company, as a project owner? I'm getting good work, quicker work, where others can create only 4 machines. I'm sure you guys can create 5 machines. I'm being selfish here. I will assign you the same task. What are you guys losing? You are not getting the diverse work. You are not getting to learn something, but that is how it works. This is a better truth. You can't do anything about it. So even if you get a person who has actually worked as an Azure administrator, as an implementation engineer for 2 years, you will see him or her good at one segment, maybe at virtual machine, maybe at storage, but in other segment, they will lack. This is the reason we are practicing in all of them. We are doing practically in all of them, right? So in this case, in that manner, even if a person who has been working genuinely, if that person attempts an interview, that person will be good with compute maybe, but when it comes to networking, load balancer, that person will fumble somewhere here and there. But when you guys go and if you practice all these tasks which we have been doing, in which we have been practicing these questions, and if you give interview, I am certain about it, I'm sure about it, and I'm not just assuming this based on previous experiences. I'm saying it based on previous experiences, candidates and batches. I'm saying this, that I'm pretty sure that you will crack the interview and you will attempt the better interview compared to a candidate who has really worked, because that person genuinely did not get a chance to work. We are exploring all the aspects here, and the interviewer has hardly 45 minutes or 1 hour. He doesn't have all the time to check all the scenario, etc. Whatever you explain, however time you take, that's all he has. So if you know the load balancer very well, you can at least take 10 to 12 minutes in this one topic to explain load balancer. You have already eliminated other questions which he or she wanted to ask, and you have given a good impression in explaining in detail. By explaining it in detail, a practical and theory and everything. And not only for load balancer, it applies to all whatever we have been doing. Load balancer, VNet pairing. So I've been telling you that if they ask for VNet pairing, don't just give one word answer. What is VNet pairing? Connecting two networks in Azure. No, don't just give short answer. Explain it, elaborate it. What happens? It gives a good impression, and then you are eating his time. Maybe he has 20 questions, but when you start answering in an elaborated way, interviewer has to finish his interview in 45 minutes or 1 hour, whatever the dedicated time is, because he has another meeting, he has another candidate to interview. And if he is getting that, okay, in 5 or 10 questions only, if I am able to judge this candidate, that this candidate knows the concept very well, it's very safe to assume that he knows other questions also. This is how it works. Okay, you like it, you don't like it, is it morally correct, not correct? That is not the debate here. We are no one to decide that. But that is how it works. If you want to get a job, this is how we'll have to crack it. Right? So make sure, guys, you start giving detailed answer, elaborated answer, brief answer, uh, give your own examples. Whatever we are doing here, why are we doing these practicals? So you can have something to say, so you can have your own story, create the same story, prepare the same story. Why am I giving you websites name and everything? So you can use same names if you want. Maybe you can say that this was in test environment, but I did it for client. I deployed 2 virtual machines, I deployed 4 virtual machines. You can say I deployed 2 websites, 4 virtual machines, maybe 2 backends, 2 load balancer, however you want to explain it, right? Explain it in detail. So you can do that. But and then only you will be able to crack the interview. So why am I explaining all this? Please focus on prerequisite, whatever I am asking you to read. Then only you will understand the question, and then only you will be able to explain something in detail. If you don't understand the basics, you will be left with only keywords which you are learning, and that too if you remember, or if you have something in front of you. Luckily, if it is an online, nowadays people have, companies have started calling for offline interviews. uh, I think 2 of the members from this group, they have already given the interview. Ask them, they have been called to the office offline. Few rounds were done online, and they were called for offline round. And luckily, one of them have got the offer also. But she was called in the office for the interview. So please make sure that you be ready for this, to give the elaborated answer without looking at anything. How will you be ready for this? You will be ready only once you do your practical, because once you do the practical, you will have everything in your mind. You will be able to make your story, right? And by clearing your basics. How will you clear your basics? By reading these details or prerequisite, which I share with you guys. Okay, guys. So I think I have already taken enough time. Without starting any technical. So let's get started. Yeah, one more time, I'm just giving you one opportunity. Do you guys have any questions on networking before I start with storage? Because I do not want to come back to any segment. Till the time we are in this segment, I'm happy to cover something. But if not, we can move ahead and start storage.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, tell me.
In load balancer, like in OneNote now, there it is mentioned that load balancer is a regional service, and the chart which you have mentioned where you have provided that load balancers versus application gateway, there it is mentioned as like in global and regional service, it is global. So I just got like confused, like is it global or regional service? And
Okay, I think we did this. I'm not sure if you remember it or not. Let me open the
like while
portal.
selecting, like creating load balancer, we are selecting regional, and that we have options regional and global.
Yes, so both
So
answers are
it is,
correct. In a wider range, we call it a regional service. Are you talking about this table? Let
yes,
me.
yes, David. No, not this.
This table are you talking about?
Yes, yes, this one.
Okay, we can make it regional if you want. But I'll explain it to you. How is it? No, we can't see, it's not even written by me. It's copy pasted from Azure's website. Okay, but I can explain it to you. Why are they calling it global? Why are they calling it regional? Though I think we have already covered it in last session, but still, let's quickly do that. So I'm opening the load balancer. And I'll open this diagram also. If you guys remember, I created two diagrams of two load balancers, and then I explained it to you that you can put a load balancer in front of two load balancers. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
What about you, Anisa? Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that, but like when answering this question, like where it is
Got it. Yeah,
regional
I'll come to
service
that.
or
Don't worry.
global.
Yes, I'll come to that also. You can explain it. See, I told you, never answer in one word. Even if interviewer is asking, is load balancer global or regional service? Don't just say regional. Don't just say global. Explain it. It is a regional service. Why is it why it is a regional service? Why? Because if I have all my machines in East US, I can deploy my load balancer only in East US. And if something goes wrong to East US region, my load balancer is down. That is why it is a regional load. It is a regional service. However, when I use this same load balancer and at the backend, instead of using machines, if I use two load balancer, then this load balancer becomes a global service for me. This is how you can explain. Look at this. Now when I see, for internal, obviously it cannot go global. When I select public, if I select global here, what does it say? Across region, global load balancer will be deployed. Here at the back end, this is the front end IP, will have to configure. Otherwise we cannot go ahead. Yes, these questions you'll have to remember that while deploying the load balancer, which is the segment which needs to be, or which is the component which needs to be configured. Rest all can be done later. Backend pool, I can do it later. I can do it now also. So here, look at this. If it was a regional load balancer, a basic one, I would have found my virtual machines here, right? But what does it say? What is it looking for? Can you read it here? Can you guys read it? What is it looking for? Yes. So now that load balancer, the one which I'm preparing, the one which I am creating here, this is becoming my global load balancer, and my backend will have my regional load balancers. Got it? This is how it will come in both categories. But majority, we call it as a regional service, a regional service. You will be right, you will not be marked down if you call it as a regional service. But if you know to explain it, do not stop at one word and just say regional or global and then leave it. Do not assume that your interviewer think for you that okay, she or he knows that there are two types, there is global, there is local, and maybe the candidate considered this scenario and then answered no. Do not assume that, and do not give chance your interviewer to assume. Explain it in detail and you will have your answer. But to answer, it is global and it is regional both. Got it? Because both things are given. This is from Azure's website. You can still go ahead and search for this. There is a table. It's not written by me. This table, it is still there. You will still find it. Maybe some features will be here and there, but this table will still be there and you will see it global. And if you go to website on the portal, you will still see it as regional service. It will call as regional. You will see this also. You'll see this also. So both things are correct. You don't have to worry about it. Got it?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Yes, guys. Any other details do you want? Any other questions anyone has? Yes, guys, please feel free to ask if you have any questions, any doubts. We have only 10 minutes left. I will not start storage in this session. open it for question and answers. So from next session, we can start, I mean, the upcoming session after the break, we can start our storage topic. So let's keep these 10 minutes for question and answers. It could be anything, networking, anything, or if you have any questions on storage also, people who went through these topics or these videos or paragraphs, whatever, if you guys have read, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Sohail, in which situation hub and spoke is being used? I just wanted to know.
Hub and spoke, we explained it
Method.
in detail. Did you miss the video? You were there in
I
last
have,
session, right?
yeah, I have watched. I was there in the session as well,
Hmm.
but I have asked to one of my colleague as well. He is working in that virtual machine deployment. He said to me that whenever there is a, we create a spoke for the employees who want to log into the server or the ports. So we create a spoke for them, and there will be an hub where they would be able to get a connectivity to log in. So I just wanted to understand that.
No, I am not sure what you are talking about, and without looking at the details, I wouldn't want to comment on that. Maybe that could be some different hub and spoke they're talking about. But what did I
Correct.
explain? Did you understand that? Do you remember what did I explain? Or can anyone repeat that? When do we? I shared two examples, guys. Who can repeat those two examples? I don't want you to explain, just repeat those two examples. When will I use hub and spoke model? Anyone, please.
Silvia, can I try?
Anyone, please.
We use this hub and spoke model when we want to route some traffic of certain virtual networks through a specific virtual network in which we are placing the firewall or any other service that we want the traffic to go through that network through that VNet. Then we use a hub and spoke model.
Fine.
And
Enough, enough, enough,
also
enough.
we
One
use
is
this
enough. One is enough. What about the next
okay,
one? Can someone
okay.
else give me the next example? Yes, guys, anyone? The next example. I'm sure about it, guys. I'm not going to repeat it now because I'm sure about it that I have covered it in the video. I'm pretty sure about it. I mean, I don't even have to go back and watch my own recording. I'm sure about it because I use the same diagram, and actually answer is right in front of you. So who can tell me the next example? When would you use hub and spoke model? First is correct. Though whoever answered, who was that? Asher, did you answer that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Though the answer was not very impressive. I mean, if this is the way you are going to use in your interview, definitely it's not helpful. You are. Well, I mean, we can work on that later when we all have the
Okay.
interview sessions. We'll work on that. But yes, technically answer was correct. Yes, guys. What is the another reason or another scenario I explained where you would use hub and spoke model?
So we'll pair the VNets with one VNet,
No, that's okay. I'm not
and
asking
with
about the hub and spoke method. When will you use it? Why will you use it? Simple. What are the scenarios where you can use it? One, Asher explained that where I want to use firewall because firewall very costly resource. I don't want to use it in all the virtual networks. So I'll use hub and spoke. What will it do? It will allow the traffic to route from other networks to using only one network. That is hub and spoke. We are using it. Big one of the reason is firewall. What is the other reason or other scenario? Yes, guys, anyone? Sufyan, would you like to try? Did you watch the video?
Yes,
Satish?
I'm audible.
Yes, Sufyan, tell me.
One was one scenario was regarding firewall, and the one which I remember is like we can have a multiple network and multiple machine, and the requirement is to connect all virtual net to on-prem. So we can use like other services. We have
Fine,
multiples of
got
the
your
network.
answer.
So what we can do is
You can mute yourself, whoever is speaking, because there is a lot of distorting. But answer is correct. Yes, I got your answer. Anyone else would like to elaborate this? He already answered. I'm just looking for someone to elaborate it in a detailed manner. Not the steps, just when will you use it? Yes, guys, anyone? Good, Nirmal, ask this question. At least I came to know that you guys are not practicing at all. I mean, this is the topic we just, I think last session or maybe last to last session. And I emphasized so much on this that this is very important topic, frequently asked questions. And guys, if you are doing, if you're treating this topic with this negligence, then trust me, you may sound it harsh or rude, but this is not helping you at all. Again, let me quickly explain it to you that I am here till the time we are having this classes, right? This session. Maybe I'll support you next month, next to next month. I will have my another batch, another work. I'll be busy, right? I won't be able to help you forever. You guys will have to do your own study. And if you are leaving these important topics like this, then this is not helping you. For sure, if you're not able to explain hub and spoke, when we are writing this in our resume, I told you that we are going to write this about hub and spoke. I told you that you should say it proactively, even if they are not asking. So this is how this question or this topic important is. And still, if you guys are not focusing on this, then ultimately this will be your loss. I am not losing anything. I'm sure most of you know it by now that I don't teach for money. Most of the students are not paying. I'm not teaching anything for ratings. I am not representing any organization. I'm not looking for any promotion here. Right? So what we are doing here is just to get you a good job. So if you are not following this, then ultimately a loss will be yours. So only 1 minute is left, guys. Let's close this session. Next session, we'll start storage. I'll give you guys some time. If you don't understand this topic, I mean, not today, you watch the video, everything. If you don't understand it after watching the video and practicing, still, I will again explain it to you. Okay, now let's take a break of 5 minutes. I will rejoin at 14:45. We'll start storage.
Okay.